Traders, today we are going to be covering my favorite scalping strategy. It is called the Takashi strategy, and it is named that because I did not invent this strategy. It was utilized by a Japanese trader, of course, named Takashi, to make millions and millions of dollars in the stock market. Today's video will cover everything about the strategy. Obviously, the entrance and exit conditions, also the scanner that I use in order to find these setups, and the setups that I actually like to really attack. The setups that I would consider A+ setups, because not every single one that will appear on the chart is actually one that I like to trade. So of course, we'll discuss that throughout this video as well. And we're going to do it all in real time. So you're going to get to watch some live trades using this strategy this morning. I published all of my custom ThinkorSwim codes on my website, DayTradingStrategies.net. And I bring this up at the beginning of this video because actually right now, as of recording this, one of the free codes on the website is this Takashi strategy. So it actually might make sense for you to pause real quick, head on over to DayTradingStrategies.net, which is linked in the description down below, and you can go import this strategy so that while you're watching this video, you can be looking at how the strategy works on your ThinkorSwim chart at the same time. We are approaching 7 a.m., which is when pre-market trading begins in Charles Schwab and, of course, in ThinkorSwim. That is sort of the first thing that I want to talk about as it comes to finding setups with this strategy. I find it to work best in both pre-market and in after hours. Does that mean that the strategy can't be utilized for profit during normal market hours? No, of course not. It can be. I just really love it during scheduled volatility events that occur in extended hours trading. Because of course, with a scalping strategy like this, wow, sorry, my voice is nuts. With a scalping strategy like this, volatility is going to be your friend. So here it is now 7 a.m. I will be keeping an eye on my pre-market scanner sorted by a custom column that shows me which stocks are closest to their current high of day. We'll talk about all of that a little bit later. I'm also watching a third-party scanner here over on my left-hand monitor because unfortunately, those of you that use ThinkorSwim will know this, but ThinkorSwim is not great at showing you moves right when they happen. The ThinkorSwim results are a little bit delayed. So for more live results, I'm watching a third-party scanner to do that. I also have my Discord open. So if anyone is talking about stocks moving over there, actually, I see someone in the Discord just posted BMR. BMR is indeed getting a really nice push right now. Actually, let me get my news turned on as well. I want to see the news of these kind of stocks. Let me turn on that modal. Wow, hello. BMR to showcase NVIDIA powered video solutions at AI World. There you go. It is a small company that got NVIDIA in the news here at 7 a.m., thus getting a big push. Now, thing number two I want to talk about in this clip before we get to trading, I am looking at the 5-minute time frame here, meaning each one of these candles, of course, represents 5 minutes of trading time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wait and watch what happens with this first 5-minute candle. And then obviously we will begin to talk about the entrance conditions of the strategy. Just to show it off and give a shout out, here is my Discord server. And you can see here both Trader Mike and Great Dane shouted out BMR right at 7 a.m. So this is just a great place to be if you want to get live alerts about stocks that are moving in real time like that. There are currently over 850 members in that Discord server, and you can get access to it at no additional cost. Once again, obviously, from DayTradingStrategies.net. If you decide to go with the annual plan, you get lifetime access to that Discord at no additional cost. So once again, if you're interested in the codes and you would like to join that Discord server, that is how you go about doing that. Head on over to DayTradingStrategies.net. So it is now 7:05. The first 5-minute candles have closed. Of course, maybe not of course. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but this is a dip buying scalp strategy. So we are happy to see the strength on some of these tickers. We're going to be watching BMR, we're going to be watching ZNB and SEED. These were the three stocks that I saw on the scanners and that were shouted out in the Discord. So now what we're going to do on ZNB, on what was the other one, BMR, and this one actually looks a little bit less interesting already. Got a pretty big topping wick. Volume's already kind of drying. So maybe we actually move away from BMR. But SEED as well, another stock that got 7 a.m. news. Let me move myself out of the way. Sorry. SEED, another stock that got 7 a.m. news. So what we're doing now is we have a small list. Actually, here we go. We have a small list of stocks that had a very strong kind of scheduled volatility event at the top of the hour. We will now be looking for a dip. And as you can actually see here, since my screen is all highlighted green, that means that this dip is large enough for the strategy to enter. I have the code turn my whole screen green, so I know when it's going to be the right time to buy. Now, we don't buy until the close of this candle. As you actually just saw, when it began to bounce there, the green went away because the dip wasn't large enough anymore. So there's still 3.5 minutes left in this candle. It needs to close down here at this right size dip, which I'll talk about in just a second what that is, in order for the strategy to enter. And if it does, we will be buying the close of this 5-minute candle. So whenever you're building, testing, and optimizing a trading system, you need to give quantities to your ideas. So the idea of this strategy is I want to buy larger than normal volatility dips. Well, how do we objectively quantify that so that we can build a strategy around it? What I've done, and actually what Takashi himself did as well, once again, I did not make up this strategy. I'm using it exactly how he used it. I just coded it within ThinkorSwim. So let me not take the credit. What Takashi does is he looks at the ATR value. ATR stands for average true range. Very simple price action study, just measures the average distance from high to low over the last 14 candles. If the current candle's dip is larger than that ATR value, so the current ATR value on ZNB is 9 cents. So if this candle from open to close or open to current price is greater than 9 cents, then it is aligning with the Takashi dip buying strategy. As you can see, while I've been talking, the stock is kind of dumping off now, which is why we wait until close of candle to buy. And obviously, this dip is now much greater than 9 cents. The Takashi strategy is all lit up green. Still a minute and a half to go in this candle, but it looks like we will be entering the close of it. All right, so there's actually only 2 seconds left in this candle, and kind of crazily, this thing already did make a really large bounce. However, it still was just large enough in order for the strategy to enter. So the strategy has entered the trade at $2.56 a share. So the entrance condition, very, very simple. Look for a stock that is having sort of a very strong bullish breakout move, and the A plus setup is then to buy the first red candle afterwards. We'll sort of talk about that A plus setup and setups I don't like as much later in the video. I sort of am a little sad about how much this thing already bounced. That's just a little bit unfortunate timing. Of course, we would have rather had it close down here and then bounce for us. But I mean, hey, what can you do? The strategy is now in on the close of this candle. So entrance condition, sorry, dude, this is going to be a weird, I apologize about my voice. Entrance condition for this strategy, very, very simple. A stock that closes with a dip greater than the average volatility of the ticker, which is measured by the ATR. Very simple. If the entrance is simple, the exit is even simpler. All we're going to do is we're going to sell the close of this next candle. That's it. No matter what, red, green, yellow, backflip, we're going to sell the close of this candle no matter what the chart does. So the central idea, the central thesis of this trade strategy, is when you get a larger than normal volatility red candle, there is a greater than 50% chance for the next candle to be green. Now, of course, that's not always true. This trade is not off to a very good start, but hey, I'm not afraid to show you all losers too. Guess what? The strategy doesn't always win. It has about a 55 to 60% win rate. But in the stock market, That's all you need. So maybe this one's not going to go so well. There's still plenty of time left, still 3 minutes left in this candle. As we saw, this stock can do some crazy bounces. So I'll be back in about 2.5 minutes and we'll see where we're at. All right, there is now 20 seconds left in this trade. The candle has bounced okay. It was just back to our entrance price just a second ago. Looks like this thing is going to be a small loss to basically break even trade, which is perfectly fine. Obviously, once again, the timing a little unfortunate. Would have been nice if this huge bounce would have just like waited 30 seconds, but that's okay. We are going to go ahead and get stopped out of this thing for a couple penny loss. Not a big deal at all. Obviously, I would like to showcase to you some nice winners in this video, but once again, I have no qualms with showing you all the losers, especially if they can be nice and small like this. But you now, you now understand the entrance and exit conditions of this strategy. So now what I want to do is I want to begin talking you through some of the A plus setup, like what I'm really, really looking for versus what I'm not looking for so much in the larger picture setup of a strategy like this one. We can actually just go back on this same stock. By the way, look at the dip really kind of get hammered now. That's why you want to be getting out of these kind of setups quickly. If you're buying a dip, you look to get out of it quickly. I'm not buying dips and looking to hold, right? Anyway, we can go back on this same stock just a few days ago. This stock also had another crazy move, and we can talk about in this strategy where I like, excuse me, my voice is nuts. I'm sorry. I hope it comes through the mic okay. We can talk about why I really liked these two trades and why I actually don't like this trade. And that's going to sound sort of obnoxious because, of course, Trey, yes. Let me hold on quickly. Let me turn off my study that turns my charts green just so that kind of gets out of my way. It still didn't work. Let's just remove it. Okay. Sorry, it's going to sound obnoxious because, yeah, Trey, these two trades were green and this one was red. Of course, you don't like that one, but there is a real objective reason that I like these two trade setups. So basically, what I'm looking for my A plus setup on a strategy like this is that the stock is breaking highs, like it's breaking out, and then you are looking to buy the first red candle, sort of like what we just showcased on this same ticker in that live trade setup. But a few days ago on October 7th, this stock also got news at 7 a.m. Then it got a first immediate 5-minute red candle afterwards. That's good. That's an A plus setup. Then the stock, you buy, you get a nice little win out of that. Then the stock continues to break highs and you get another chance to buy the first 5-minute candle. That's good. That's an A plus setup. Stock breaking out, first red candle. A plus setup. Once again, you get a really nice win. Then the stock runs and runs and runs forever, and then you don't get a chance to buy this first 5-minute red candle. So as soon as this candle is not a buy, I am not interested in buying the next red candle. I only want to be buying the first red candle after a large move up. Now, does that mean that every single time, if you try to buy this candle, it'll never bounce? No, of course not. But your win rate is going to be slightly higher if you just focus on that first initial downturn after a large run. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know we will get an opportunity to showcase some more live trades to sort of show you what I'm talking about in real time today. So at the top of my pre-market scanner now is ticker COOT. This is the stock this morning that is currently ripping and pushing highs. You can actually see that earlier the Takashi strategy did take a trade on this one as well, although I would say I don't really love that setup because it wasn't like the first pullback. I actually like this trade setup much more. The stock was sort of making a move. Then you got your first pullback on heavy volume and you got a move there. You then also, once again, check this out. After that move, first red candle, got another win there as well. So that's what we're looking for. Once again, I actually, even though this trade won, I wouldn't have taken this trade because it wasn't after a breakout. Right? But now the stock is breaking out again. This is ticker COOT. Let me actually turn back on my entrance exit indicator so my chart will highlight green if and when this dip hopefully gets large enough for us to take another Takashi dip buying strategy trade on. I'll just showcase this quickly actually as well while we wait. The study that turns my chart green if the dip is large enough is not actually part of the strategy code because sometimes I don't want my chart to turn green. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying. So I actually do have it set up as a separate study, and I'll actually go publish this study on my website today. So as you're watching this video, this study will now be available on the site so that when your dip is larger than the ATR, the chart, will highlight green. Anyway, I don't know if you saw, but there for a second, the chart was highlighting green during this dip. There's still, a minute, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this candle. It's starting to bounce now, but we'll see where we end up. All right, unfortunately, that first red candle on this pullback after the breakout was not large enough for the dip buying strategy to enter. That's perfectly fine. That's actually going to happen to you a lot with this strategy, but it's important to know when not to take trades as well. And guess what? Since the first red candle was not an entrance, I personally, and you can go about this differently. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe you're trying to grow your account faster than I am, so you're willing to take on more risk, you can enter a trade like this if you would like to. But personally, I'm targeting the highest win rate possible, so I would not be interested in buying this dip. Once again, because it is not the first red candle after a breakout. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this stock. Maybe it breaks out again over 5 in a while and we can look again. But we're also coming up to 7:30, which is the bottom of the hour. And remember how I said I like trading extended hours, both pre-market and after hours, because they have scheduled volatility events. What I meant by that is that companies typically announce news during these times, and they almost exclusively do it at the top and bottom of the hour. So since we're approaching the bottom of the hour, I'm going to keep my eye on my scanner, keep an eye on my Discord server, and hopefully get a new list of stocks breaking out to watch for dip entrances on. So unfortunately, there just wasn't really any news at 7:30 this morning, which is fine. There's not news at every top and every bottom of the hour. I mean, that would be nice, but of course that doesn't exist. But that gives me a moment here while we sort of wait for the next top of the hour to come along to look for the next setup to talk about the pre-market scanner that I use here in ThinkorSwim. And I'll also tell you about the live scanner that I'm looking at in my third monitor as well. But the pre-market ThinkorSwim scanner is still very useful. It's just not great for finding those moves right when they start, but that's okay. With this strategy, you don't always need to be in right when it starts. You just need to be able to see stocks that are up, pushing high of day so that you can be ready for the dip entrance. So basically, all you need to know about setting up a pre-market scanner in ThinkorSwim is this study filter here. So you're going to come to add filter in the top right of type study. Let me actually move myself out of the way. And then from this study drop down, you're going to left click. You're going to hover over price performance. And here, just out of the box, this is not like a custom code or anything. This is just offered to you by ThinkorSwim. You can go into after hours percent change, and it's called after hours, but it works in pre-market as well. And then I set mine to the close has moved greater than 10% in after hours trading. That way I will only see stocks that are on this list that are up at least 10% in pre-market trading. Like that's all fine and dandy and very easy to set up, but where the money really is with a scanner, really with any scanner in ThinkorSwim, since they aren't live updating. What I mean by that is that the results of this scanner, like the actual stocks themselves, only update every roughly 3 minutes. But the data in the columns does live update, does update in real time. So really, these columns are going to be where the money is made in a ThinkorSwim scanner, and I have created a custom column using ThinkorSwim code that shows me the percent difference the ticker currently is away from local highs. I could then sort ascending top down by this, and the stock that is obviously up at least 10% this morning that is currently pushing highs will jump up to the top of my list. So I've seen BDTR on the top of the list for a while. I can go load in that scanner, and we can indeed see actually some nice Takashi trades on this thing this morning. Pretty light volume though, so not really something I'm interested in, but it is trading at high of day, so the scanner is working as intended. And then I just simply load in that watch list. These are my scan results, also sorted ascending top down by my custom high of day difference column here on my left-hand pane, so that whenever a stock is moving, like HOND is now at the top of the list, all I have to do is click on the name of the ticker from this left-hand panel, and it auto loads into my chart. So just a very powerful tool to be able to never miss when a stock in pre-market is pushing high of day and being able to very, very quickly click on it and load it onto your chart. Just quick ThinkorSwim tip if you don't know how to do that. Let me actually expand this. There is a link icon here, and there is a link icon on your chart. As long as those are set to the same number color combo, that is how you can click on a stock from a watch list and move it on over into your chart. By the way, Coot, this is the ticker we were watching earlier for a potential pullback, has actually ended up bouncing back up to highs. So the strategy never got in. It never got a large enough red candle, but we could sort of keep an eye on it here. I would have liked to seen kind of more of a breakout. Maybe we'll still get that before I'm super interested in buying a dip, but we can keep an eye on this thing. Anyway, to wrap up the conversation about the scanner in the custom column, that scanner, that custom column, and like hundreds of other codes are available over on daytradingstrategies.net. Listen, obviously, I'm going to gas it up. It's my business. Obviously, I'm very, very biased in thinking you should sign up for it, but just you really unlock so much of the potential power of ThinkorSwim when you use these sort of custom coded strategies, scanners, custom scan columns, etc. And that is why I created my website to provide that power to you all. Anyway, also, I said I was going to talk about what my third-party scanner is. What I'm looking at on my third monitor over here to the left is a scanner called Trade Ideas. This is a live updating scanner, of course, one you have to pay for. There's really no such thing as a live updating scanner, not a good one at least, that you don't have to pay for. Stock data is just very expensive. They're going to make you pay for it. I'm not going to say any names of channels. I'm not going to promote it, but I know I'm really sorry. I know for a fact that you can like go to YouTube and you can YouTube search Trade Ideas, live stock scanner, something like that. And there's like a bunch of people that do share and stream, should I say, their Trade Ideas scanners. I don't know the legality of it. I don't know if they're allowed to be doing it. That's why I'm not going to say the name of it. But if you would like to go use a free kind of live scanner, that's probably the best way to do it. You're going to be a couple of seconds delayed, but it's not that bad, especially when you don't have to pay for it. Crap, I'm actually really mad at myself right now. So at 7:28, I alerted the Discord about ticker GNPX. And then I sort of, 7:30 came and went, and I was like, oh, nothing happened at the bottom of the hour. So I'm just going to move on and talk about the scanner for today's video. But I alerted GNPX 7:28, which is this candle here. The stock was breaking out really, really nicely. This is like a perfect A+ Takashi setup. And I just missed recording it live because I got to talking about the scanner. So I'm a little mad at myself for that, but at least you can see in real time. It was alerted in the Discord, so you would have known about this move. It was breaking out, very bullish. Then you got your first 5-minute red candle. That's your A+ setup. You got to enter this thing at 43 cents, and you made 21% on the next candle out at 52 cents. So a really, really nice Takashi win this morning. I'm a little pissed at myself for not recording it live, but I mean, whatever. It is this morning. You can see that it was alerted in the Discord, so that value was there for you, even if you didn't get to see the trade live. And just a really, massive, massive win. Not every win is going to be 20+% like that. That's actually pretty insane, but there you go. One like very small loss this morning and one very big win. So far, a good morning for the strategy. All right, so we actually just passed 8 o'clock. It's coming up on 8:10. 10 and ticker here IBG did announce news at the top of the hour, and they are now getting a first red candle pullback. This is an A plus setup, and the strategy has entered the trade at $5.42 a share. The ATR value going into this trade was 41 cents. This candle opened at $6.05, closed at $5.42. That is obviously a larger than 41 cent pullback, so the strategy has entered. Of course, we will be selling the close of this next 5-minute candle no matter where it goes. And just to show you all the added value you get from Discord, I alerted this stock in the Discord at 8:01. So you would have been made aware of this move right as soon as it started happening, if you will remember, in the Discord server. And this thing is already bouncing. Of course, we've still got about over 4 minutes to go in this candle, so we'll see where it goes from here. But this looks like a very good start. Just while this stock is pushing in real time, it actually just pushed up over $6. A really good continuation in this trade. We still have a minute and a half. I just want to shout out the Discord again. Mr. RJ says he made $820 on this trade. Like, imagine paying for the annual plan $400 on the website, and in one trade from the Discord, you make $820. Seems like pretty good value. Anyway, let's come back and let's keep an eye on this trade. Now, there's a minute and 10 seconds left. We are in a really nice position here. We currently sit up over 13% in this trade. We've been in the trade for 4 minutes and we're up 13%. Long-term investors, and I am also a long-term investor, I believe you all should be, but if our long-term investment account does 13% this year, we're all going to be very happy, right? This one trade in 4 minutes has you up 13%. Still 45 seconds left in this candle. Let's just sit here and watch it. Let's sit here and watch it tick live. We are up and over the $6 whole dollar mark here, so that is good to see. For a while in this candle, $6 was resistance. It would be really nice if we could get up breaking pre-market highs. I don't think that's going to happen in the next 25 seconds. Never say never, but at this point, I'm sort of cheering for it to hold on, if anything, because now we've lost $6. So we'll see. I mean, unless something drastic happens, no matter what, this is going to be a really, really nice trade. Remember, we're only in the trade for 5 minutes. If you make a little bit of money, you can only be but so happy. And it looks like we are going to go ahead and get out of this thing in 1 second. And we made 10% in the trade. So yeah, we shaved 3% off the top there at the end. But hey, once again, you just made 10% in 5 minutes. I'm simulating $25,000 positions as that's my account size. Those are the types of trades that I take with this strategy. Obviously, you can adjust your share size from the strategy itself very, very easily. Once again, here you go. My position size set to 25,000. So of course, on 10%, you can see here from the floating P&L and actually in my statistics up here, just locked in $2,400 in that trade. Actually, here, great example. Now a trade I would not take, right? Why wouldn't I take this trade? Because the candle before was not a big breakout candle. I love this trade. The trade we just watched, love it. The candle before, massive, huge breakout green candle. Then you get a larger than normal volatility pullback. That's an A+ setup. This candle did not go break that high. This candle failed to make new highs, so I would not be looking to enter this candle. Once again, does that mean that this candle won't bounce? For all I know, this candle will close here and the next candle will close at $8 a share. I don't freaking know what's going to happen, but through my years and years now of building and testing strategies and time watching stocks and watching how stocks move, I know that the higher win rate is on this setup. The higher likelihood of green is on this setup. So I, once again, personally only decide to trade these setups. Once again, if you're willing to take on more risk than I am, maybe you're trying to grow an account faster than I am, you need to be willing to take more trades and take more risk. So maybe you would take this. Once again, I can just teach you the A+ setup, and that is the one that we just watched make 10% live and in real time. By the way, just another trade that happened while we were watching IBG. This is ticker DFLI. This is another one we were all talking about in the Discord. Running, 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 running. You get that first red candle finally. Look, it takes a while, but it's still the first red candle, right? So this is still an A plus entrant setup, and you make a nice little 5.5% gain in 5 minutes. There's another example of a pretty nice win this morning using this very simple dip buying scalping strategy. Quick recap. You are entering trades when the pullback is larger than the current ATR value. Focus on looking for these trades in extended hours, be it during pre-market or after hours, as these scheduled volatility events help give you the best setups. If you would like to only trade the A plus setup of the strategy, only buy the first red candle after a huge green bullish breakout candle. Obviously, your sell is simply the close of the following candle. All of this is done on the 5-minute time frame. You can set up your ThinkorSwim scanner the way I have mine set up to get an idea of moves happening over time, or you could look up a scanner like Trade Ideas, or if you really want to, look up a Trade Ideas scanner on YouTube. Obviously, if you join my website, you will get access to see this strategy trade. Actually, I forget. You can go import the strategy for free from my website. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, actually, if you haven't figured it out. So go import the strategy. Why not? If you would like the study that also colors your screen green when the entrance condition is true, I have now associated that with the strategy over on the website. You will, however, need to pay for that, though. That won't be free, but that will be available to you on the website. If you sign up for the annual plan on the website, you also get access to this Discord in which we have been talking about these sort of stocks moving all morning long. So come on over here, join the conversation, join the 838 members that have already signed up for the annual plan and are in here talking about which stocks are moving in real time. Let me show you quickly how it works. Head on over to daytradingstrategies.net, once again linked in the description down below, and go into explore free codes. These are completely free. There's no credit card required. You don't need to make an account, anything like that. They are completely free. Every single one of the 150 plus codes on the website comes with one of these unique TOS share links. All you need to do is copy this link. Back within your ThinkorSwim, you're going to go to Setup in the top right corner, open shared item, paste that link, preview, and import. You can see we are importing the DTS Takashi dip strategy, so go ahead and import that. Come into your edit studies modal, just like you turn on any other study. Of course, if you imported a study and would like to turn that on, those are available for here. You find the strategies under the strategies subtab. If I look up DTS Takashi dip strategy, obviously simply double click it to turn it on to your chart. Apply just like that. You can have any and all of the 150 plus codes from my website imported and saved locally to your ThinkorSwim account. As long as that ThinkorSwim account exists, you will have these codes. Even if you unsubscribe from the website, it's not like you lose access to the codes or anything like that. So daytradingstrategies.net, go click the unlock 150 plus codes now button. I couldn't suggest more signing up for the annual plan. I mean, you're going to get 12 months of access to every new code I add to this website, of which I add at least one new code a week. Usually it's like 3 or 4. And obviously you're going to get that lifetime access to the Discord. Just a ton of value for just $400 a year. And listen, sign up, say you hate it. Say you just sign up and you find no value in any of the codes somehow. That's kind of hard to imagine, but if it happens, feel free to reach out to me from the contact us link and I'll get you your money back, no questions asked. So it's really all risk-free as well. Anyway, head on over to daytradingstrategies.net. Maybe read the reviews while you're over here. Help decide for yourself if this is something that could help accelerate your personal trading journey. Sign up today and become a better trader immediately.